What if I told you that a $32,000 boarded up house in Memphis could be, well, it could actually be the solution to a local homelessness crisis
Right.
and at the same time generate a higher, more stable yield than like a luxury downtown condo?
Which sounds completely backwards, I know.
It really does. But today, we are basically tearing up the traditional real estate playbook. We're looking at a single, relatively modest piece of property and completely deconstructing how an investor actually extracts value from it in today's market.
Yeah, it forces a total mindset shift for you as an investor. You have to stop looking at a property as just, a place where a family lives, and you start looking at it as this flexible vehicle for different economic and social strategies.
Absolutely. Welcome to today's Deep Dive. I'm thrilled you're here with us. But before we get into the heavy mechanics of this specific Memphis property, I have some pretty great news regarding the show.
Oh, yeah, the new sponsor.
Right? Today's Deep Dive is actually brought to you by Flowers and Associates, LLC. They are a property rental firm dedicated specifically to helping landlords and property owners stabilize their rental income.
Which, I mean, if you've been managing properties over the last few years, you know stabilization is literally the holy grail right now.
Oh, 100%. And because of this partnership, we're actually rolling out a brand new feature for these deep dives. Moving forward, actual property listings are going to be added directly to these discussions.
That is so cool.
Yet specifically designed for you buy and hold investors listening right now. We want to stop talking purely in the abstract and give you real, tangible examples to kind of anchor these advanced concepts.
And honestly, we couldn't ask for a better source to kick this off. Today, we're dissecting a detailed property prospectus and investment package from Robert Flowers.
Right.
It centers entirely on one specific property in Memphis, Tennessee, and it breaks down how a single asset can be operated through 4 completely different strategic frameworks.
Yeah, we're going from the standard fix and flip all the way up to specialized socially conscious housing. We even have an AI agent making an appearance to help navigate the bureaucracy, which is wild.
It really is.
It's like we aren't just buying a house, right? We're buying a hardware platform. The property itself is just the hardware. And these 4 strategies we're about to discuss, they're the different operating systems you can run on it.
That is a perfect way to frame it. So let's look at the baseline hardware first. We are analyzing a property at 193 W. McKeller Avenue, Memphis, Tennessee, in the 38109 zip code.
Okay.
The prospectus outlines it as a vacant 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom home.
A very classic, modest residential footprint. Let's get into the math, though, because the entry point here is what makes all the rest of these strategies even possible.
Definitely.
The asking price is $32,500. The seller is looking for reasonable cash offers, accompanied by proof of funds. But, you and I both know you aren't just handing over $32,000 and, putting a tenant in the next day.
Yeah. Oh, far from it. No. The source clearly flags this as requiring, quote, moderate rehabilitation. So the estimated repair budget is sitting between $35,000 and $40,000.
Gotcha. Which means our all-in capital requirement, assuming, some closing costs and holding fees, is roughly $75,000 to get this hardware booted up and fully functional.
Exactly.
And the prospectus estimates the after-repair value, the ARV, at $95,000 to $100,000. But, okay, let me push back a bit.
Go for it.
These are just estimated numbers. What is the catch here for a new investor listening to this?
Well, the catch is exactly what you'd expect. Due diligence. The prospectus hammers hard on conducting your own due diligence.
Right.
It's not just checking a box. If your contractor gets in there and finds foundation issues, or, if the city has a zoning overlay that restricts your usage.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that $40K rehab budget blows up and your entire equity spread just vanishes overnight.
So you really got to verify everything.
You have to independently verify every single assumption. The title, local comparable sales, the insurance premiums for a vacant property under construction. The prospectus gives you the blueprint, but, you have to verify the soil before you pour the concrete.
Okay, fair enough. So let's assume you've done that. You've run the gauntlet, your contractor's locked in a $40,000, title is clean, and you own this chassis outright. You've installed the engine.
Right.
Now, how do you actually drive this thing? The prospectus outlines the 2 standard operating systems first.
Yeah.
The ones we see on every single real estate show, right?
Yeah, the classics.
Strategy 1, selling the hardware. The fix and flip.
Right, selling it to an end user on the open market. So the goal is to capture that $100,000 ARV. But as we just noted, your actual net profit is highly sensitive here.
Because of the margins.
Exactly. You are entirely dependent on market timing. You need a buyer who specifically wants a fully renovated 2-bed, 1-bath house in that exact zip code exactly when you finish construction.
Yeah. And if interest rates tick up a point while you're, I don't know, laying the flooring,
Your buyer pool shrinks, and then your holding costs just eat your profit.
which naturally pushes a lot of investors towards strategy too,
Yeah.
right? Leasing the hardware out, the traditional rental.
Yeah.
You renovate it, you put a standard lease in place, and you operate it as a long-term residential hold.
Yeah.
And the source here projects a traditional market rent for this specific footprint at approximately $1,000 per month.
Which immediately shifts your risk profile. You're no longer sweating the daily fluctuations in interest rates or market inventory.
Right.
You're relying on the local median income to support that monthly payment.
And this clearly appeals to the buy and hold audience that Flowers and Associates works with. It stabilizes your portfolio. You get a steady, relatively hands-off return.
Yeah, definitely.
But here's my issue with it. If you look at the macroeconomics of a working-class neighborhood, that $1,000 a month isn't just a floor. It's kind of like a hard ceiling.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. Like, you can put Italian marble countertops in that kitchen, but the local wages won't support a $1,500 rent for a 2-bedroom house. You are capped by the neighborhood demographics.
You've hit on the exact limitation the prospectus is trying to highlight here. That $1,000 gross monthly rent is safe, but it's totally stagnant.
Yeah.
The source actually uses that traditional rental figure as the control group in this whole experiment. It sets the stage for the crucial question: how do we break the math of a single-family floor plan without actually adding square footage?
Okay, so if our cap on a single family is $1,000, we have to change the business model. We can't change the hardware, so we have to change the operating system.
Precisely.
And that brings us to the third strategy in the package, rent by the bed.
Which completely fractures the traditional landlord paradigm. Because of the 2-bedroom configuration, the strategy proposes renting the bedrooms out on separate individual leases.
Okay.
And the projected rent per bed in this market is $900.
Wait. So if I split the leases, I'm grossing $1,800 a month?
Yep.
That is almost an 80% increase in gross revenue just by changing the paperwork.
But, intuitively, that means I'm no longer a passive landlord. I'm basically running a high-turnover hospitality business.
Exactly. You are.
What are the operational realities like, the hidden costs of chasing that extra $800 a month?
The operational realities are steep, and to the source's credit, they lay them out very plainly. The hidden cost of that yield is your time and your overhead.
Okay, like what?
Well, first off, utilities. In a standard lease, the tenant puts the water and electric in their name.
Right, usually.
But when you rent by the room, the landlord generally has to absorb all utilities because, you can't realistically force two strangers to amicably split a heating bill in winter.
Oh, that makes sense. Not to mention the friction. You've got two unconnected people sharing one bathroom, one kitchen, one HVAC system.
Yeah.
The wear and tear accelerates.
Oh. And suddenly, your property manager is acting as a referee for roommate disputes over who left the dishes in the sink.
Exactly. And your vacancy risk profile changes too. If
Yeah.
one person moves out, sure, you don't lose the whole property's income. You still have $900 coming in.
Right, that's a plus.
It is, but you are constantly marketing, vetting, and turning over individual rooms. Plus, you step into a massive compliance minefield.
Like zoning.
Yes, you have to verify zoning. Many municipalities have very strict definitions of what constitutes a single-family home versus a multi-tenant rooming house or a boarding facility.
Wow, okay. And if the city catches you operating a boarding house in a strictly single-family zone, I imagine the fines will wipe out that extra yield in a heartbeat.
Oh, immediately. Not to mention insurance. A standard landlord policy does not cover you if you are renting individual rooms to multiple unrelated parties. You need specific commercial or specialized liability riders, which are, significantly more expensive.
So the takeaway here is that you're trading your own operational energy and management costs for that higher gross revenue.
Yeah.
The cap rate might look amazing on a spreadsheet,
Yeah.
but you are earning every single penny of it in sweat equity.
100%.
So, okay, if I'm an investor looking at this, flipping has tight margins and market risk. Traditional renting has a hard ceiling on returns. Rent by the bed gives me the yield, but it forces me to run a tiny hotel with double the maintenance.
Right.
This feels like a deadlock. Like, what's the way out?
Which is why the fourth strategy is so incredibly compelling. It offers a way to capture higher, stabilized yields without the chaotic management intensity of like room hacking.
Okay.
But it requires you to step completely outside the consumer rental market.
And this brings us to the core expertise of Robert Flowers, the architect of this prospectus. The source outlines his background as an award-winning real estate investor with over 15 years of experience. He's the founder of Flowers & Associates, which is an A-plus BBB accredited firm featured in Who's Who. And his specialty isn't just squeezing every dime out of a consumer tenant. His focus is specialized housing.
Right. So strategy 4 involves evaluating this exact same 193 W. McKeller Avenue property for housing programs that serve vulnerable populations.
Okay, like who?
We are talking about veterans, individuals with disabilities, or people transitioning out of homelessness.
Got it. So if the flip is selling the hardware and the rental is leasing it to a consumer, this specialized housing strategy is it's like securing a B2B enterprise software contract.
Oh, that's a brilliant analogy.
It completely changes the valuation model.
It really does. Instead of marketing to a tenant with a 650 credit score, Flowers & Associates guides investors on how to explore relationships with established nonprofit organizations and government agencies.
Okay.
These agencies have federal or state mandates and the funding to house people, but they severely lack the physical real estate to do it.
So how does the actual mechanism work? Like, if I own this house, am I managing the care of a disabled tenant? Because, I'm a real estate investor, not a social worker.
No, you are absolutely not providing the care. That is the critical distinction here.
Okay.
In many of these models, you sign a master lease directly with the nonprofit or the agency. They guarantee the rent, and they place the individual in the home. They provide the wraparound social services, the caseworkers, the medical check-ins.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so your risk profile shifts entirely away from consumer credit risk and moves toward institutional funding risk.
Which means the rent is often stabilized, maybe even above the local market rate sometimes, because the agency is paying for the reliability of the housing stock.
Exactly.
You provide a safe, fully rehabbed asset, and they provide the tenant and the guaranteed checks.
But, and this is a big but, the prospectus includes a massive neon flashing disclaimer here, which we really must highlight.
Lay it on me.
No nonprofit placement, rental assistance, occupancy level, licensing approval, or rental income is guaranteed just because you bought a house.
Right. So it's not a magic wand.
Yeah.
You can't just buy a property, slap some cheap paint on it, and demand a nonprofit fill it and pay you above market rent.
Exactly. The compliance burden shifts.
Yeah.
Sourcing these nonprofits, passing their specific housing quality standards, which, by the way, might require your $40K rehab budget to include ADA compliant showers or specific hardwaring materials.
Oh, sure.
All of that, and building those relationships, takes significant upfront legwork. You have to prove the asset meets their strict criteria. But when executed correctly, it aligns perfectly with the firm's mission, which is helping landlords earn passive income by partnering with nonprofits to provide housing for adults with disabilities and other special needs.
It fundamentally solves that yield versus management problem we talked about. You get the stabilized, often higher yield because you're solving a massive institutional pain point, but you aren't like playing referee for roommates or chasing down a tenant for being late on a $1,000 check.
Yeah.
Right. The agency handles the tenant.
It just highlights how the most sophisticated real estate investments are becoming hyper-targeted.
Yeah.
You are engineering the asset for a specific institutional buyer rather than just throwing it on the open market and hoping for the best.
Yeah, but navigating that bureaucracy, finding the agencies, understanding their specific mandates, scraping the local zoning laws to ensure compliance, that sounds incredibly daunting for a beginner.
It is.
But there was a detail in the source that shows exactly where the industry is heading to solve this, right?
Right.
Modern investors aren't just relying on old-school networking. They're actually using AI.
Oh, you mean the inclusion of Jonathan?
Yes.
Right.
Jonathan, the AI real estate consultant agent on their platform.
Yeah, the prospectus shows how this AI tool is specifically prompted to help users, quote, learn more about rental income strategies or explore special needs housing options.
That's amazing.
It's designed to lower the barrier to entry. Instead of spending weeks calling local housing authorities and getting put on hold, you use AI tools to match the structural realities of your property with the specific funding mandates of local nonprofits.
It streamlines the hardest part of the whole enterprise model.
It really democratizes access to what used to be a very closed-door institutional strategy.
So if you're listening to this and your gears are turning, if you're realizing that you don't just have to be a standard landlord dealing with late fees and broken toilets, we have a very specific call to action for you today.
Definitely.
If you want to understand the deep mechanics of this enterprise model, I highly recommend checking out Robert Flower's book. It's called The Joy of Helping Others, Creating Passive Income Through Special Needs Housing.
If that shift from consumer risk to institutional partnership caught your attention, that book is basically the definitive manual on how to actually build those relationships and structure those master leases.
And for the buy and hold investors out there who are qualified cash buyers, meaning you have the proof of funds ready to deploy, and you want to look at the full investment package for this Memphis property, here's exactly what you do.
Right.
You can review the property photos, the granular repair cost breakdowns, the projected valuations, and decide which of these 4 operating systems you want to run.
And once you complete your own due diligence on those numbers, you can submit a reasonable offer directly through their system.
Yep. So to get access to this property listing or to explore others that fit this model, you need to visit the site. It's a bit long, so write this down: flowersandAssociatesbooking.com/property listings. Or you can cut straight to the chase and contact them by phone at 901-621-3544.
Yeah.
Again, that website is flowersandAssociatesbooking.com/property listings, or call 901-621-3544.
It just provides a clear, structured pathway, You learn the advanced concepts, and then you have direct access to the actual physical assets to execute them on.
Let's bring this all together. We started with a $32,500 vacant house in Memphis. Just wood, bricks, and potential.
Right.
We walked through selling the hardware via a flip, which puts you at the mercy of market timing and really tight margins.
Right.
We looked at traditional renting, which offers safety but stagnant ceiling.
Yep.
We explored the high-yield, high-headache reality of room hacking. And finally, we unpacked the specialized housing model, where you secure institutional backing by providing a critical social asset.
4 entirely different economic engines, all running on the exact same 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom chassis.
It's fascinating. And as we wrap up today, consider the broader evolution of capitalism in real estate. We have been conditioned for decades to view real estate purely through an extractive lens, right? Buying low, raising rents, extracting maximum profit from a zip code.
Yeah, that's the old way.
But when you look at the specialized housing model, it suggests a totally different future for high-yield investing.
It really requires us to abandon the extractive model entirely. Think about this. What if the most sustainable, stabilized, and profitable way to generate passive income moving forward isn't by acting as a landlord to a consumer, but by acting as an infrastructure provider for social services?
Wow. It completely flips the script. You aren't just shining up an asset for whoever has the most cash. You're building a vehicle specifically designed to solve a systemic crisis, like veteran homelessness.
Exactly.
And you're finding that the highest financial returns actually come as a byproduct of providing that exact utility. Well, thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. Keep questioning the standard models, look for the alternative operating systems, and we'll catch you next time.